But like when I was at bank and I was going there was a train coming, and then I was literally contemplating doing whatever. The thing is, what makes it quite hard is that the second relationship, I had nothing but respect for her, but now I have nothing for her.
Just nothing.
Like
why do you feel the difference?
From what I found out, basically, every single time that relationship was extremely toxic, and it ruined me on multiple occasions. Lewis had seen me, and Lewis was breaking up with his ex-girlfriend pretty much at the same time as when I was breaking up with my ex-girlfriend at some point. And it was mainly like we'd talk to each other about our problems back and forth about these things. So it was like the Discord calls of doom. Like we were literally like, I'm so sad.
Are you sad? Can we be sad together?
Yeah.
Mate, it was like Sky Sports Transfer News Live. It was like, and I've just been blocked.
We were just like, don't worry, you'll be fine. You're like, yeah, I'm fine. I've been blocked
And she's cheated on me for an undisclosed fee.
Fuck's sake. But yeah, if I had to touch on like some points, pretty much like the time when I started to get to know Lewis and everything, that relationship that I had with her ended up like ruining my relationship with my life, but ended up ruining my relationship with Ethan, ended up ruining my relationship working for Sidemen, ended up ruining my relationship with my dad, which I can't entirely blame her for because he is also a prick. But yeah.
You don't have much luck, do you?
No. And then made me estranged from people like Freya and other friends like that. The thing is, like, what I can always pride myself on is having really good friends who are always very supportive of me. Like Freya, like whilst I said was estranged, she was just very disappointed that she felt like every time I went back to this individual, I would go further away from her. So it wasn't anything like, there was no animosity.
Because you have a lot of, like you said yourself, a lot of your mates are girls, aren't they? So but I'm just playing like, you're saying obviously distance. Was that because of like a insecure thing?
No, it was just that my time I put into her, because like I said to you about like, well, we kind of like discovered a little bit about abandonment issues. It was more of like, I was so scared of losing this individual that I was like, I need to put all of my effort into it to make sure that she's always happy. It was like it's hard because she's a narcissist. Like, ultimately, like, she is a narcissist. It is her primary prerogative that she is the main character of her own life.
Prerogative was a big word.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I'm not even, like, skipping past anything. I'm just trying to make sure that what I word is the right thing to say. But with where things went wrong and where things started to become miscommunicated, she was allocating blame to me, saying that I'm insecure, saying that I'm causing these issues and all of these things, fucks off for a month, comes back to me and she says that how badly she treated me and everything. Everyone's seen all the messages. Like, there's nothing that this person can hide from. Like, at every single point, like, people have read messages, they've listened to voice notes. There is nothing to hide from. I've been very transparent about what has happened. So if there's anything which is going to be manipulated, it just simply cannot be, because everyone knows. I don't really know. I feel like the issue that came about is she would say that what I was saying was a lie, or she can't trust the fact that we're just so broken and stuff, when the issue wasn't ever with me, it was with her. And it really made sense when it came to the end of it, because what I found out eventually was just like, that makes so much sense why you're projecting so much shit onto me now.
Because I remember in that relationship when it ended, because I know obviously I haven't knew you like that long, that it's ended a couple of times. This is the first time I experienced it end and known you.
Was this August?
Yes.
Okay.
I remember so your personality around the house, you're very like loud, bah, bah. But that was the first time I saw you genuinely really down and almost like, if not depressed, because you wouldn't leave your room, you wouldn't leave your bed. And I remember we had I don't know, like, we can cut this out if you want.
It's fine,
but,
you can keep it out. It's fine, I know what you're going to talk about. It's fine, you can keep it.
I remember when we had a conversation about, I think it was just a podcast for us on a Sunday, because our recording day used to be Sunday, and you had been playing football.
I was with a guest.
Oh, it was with, who was it?
Max Fosh.
Max Fosh, that was it. And we had to reschedule it. I remember you played football in the morning. You were like, "Oh, I'll be back." And I'm trying to remember. I don't think we could get in touch with you. And this was when you were like really, really like down. And I remember like we were shitting ourselves for a good 4 or 5 hours because we know the kind of mental state you were in. We hadn't heard from you. Your phone was going straight to voicemail.
Phone died.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, from our perspective before you, your thing was going straight to voicemail. And we were like, oh, shit, what the fuck? And then, obviously, we found out that your phone died. You were trying to charge it at a pub, whatever. Reschedule the podcast, just one of them things. But then you came back to the house. We had a conversation in my room about just everything. And I remember you just being like I don't want to be here. Because I remember me saying, look, from a business point of view, we were just on the podcast. I was like, bro, like, I know you're feeling down, but we're all kind of going through shit. Like, you need to be on time. But I remember when you came out of that, I was like, fuck, like, he's really, really down. Because you can feel depressed. But when you feel like what you said, where you were like, I just don't want to be here, and then you did break down. That was like probably the lowest I'd seen you right after it. And I remember you got. I felt like you were getting better each week, but inside, how were you feeling at that point?
I wanted to kill myself. Like, I'd be like really honest with you. And I think if anyone can like learn anything from this about like toxic relationships and toxic people that are around you, I really was made to feel like I would be nothing without this person. And this isn't actually like necessarily her fault. It's my fault for allowing her in and like listening to deception and lies, and also listening to things which were like being told to me. That day was mad dark because I just wanted her back. Like I felt like I needed to do anything that I could to just get her back, and I knew she wasn't coming back, or I felt like she wasn't. And then we played football, it's like my escape, and then went to the pub after with the boys. I had a pint, and I was like, I need another one. Then it came to the third or fourth, and I was a bit like, all right, I just need to keep drinking because I'm just feeling shit. Like, and that's one of the first times that I felt like I needed to just drown my sorrows. And bro, like, I felt awful. I felt like there was just nothing. There was no point. I didn't want to do the podcast. I didn't want to do anything for myself. I just kind of just didn't want to exist.
Yeah.
And I briefly touched on the bit where I was talking about the E-Boys podcast, E-Boys shoot, which I went to.
You said that in a video before, haven't you?
Yeah, but I couldn't say anything like about anything because it was for Movember and they don't like you talking about method. But like when I was at bank and I was going there was a train coming, and then I was literally contemplating doing whatever.
That's a tube station, so people.
That is a tube station. I wasn't at NatWest.
Jump in front of an ATM.
Yeah. Fuck paper. So that was like probably the two of the darkest days.
So during that time, well, you just explained it before I said that. What were you feeling? What was going through your head?
So with this individual, she would come back and it would be like promising the world. She'd say how much she's fucked up, how much she hates herself for treating me the way that she did, that she does care for me and she does all this kind of shit, whatever it is. Tells me exactly what it is that I want to hear, but then doesn't promise me anything after that. It's just like we have the conversation and the next day it's just a bit like a little bit more cold, a little bit more reserved. Like she cleared her conscience for treating me badly.
But how are you? I mean, just in your head, right there, you're at the train station. What are you feeling?
Oh, in that moment, I meant like in general.
No,
because I was still in contact. Bro, like I think the only thing I was thinking of as the train was approaching was my mum. So I was a bit like,
hey, fuck you then.
Yeah,
no,
joking, sorry. No, I just couldn't do that to my mum. Like my mum and I are so close, and I think that was ultimately like the one thing which kind of like kept me going. Where I was a bit like, just
bear with it.
Yeah, because you can give such great advice. You can do whatever. Like the whole motto I was trying to like reinforce that you're never alone. You can always talk. But when you're in that mindset, you really feel like you can't. But it's something where I grew and learned from.
So you felt alone?
So alone. I knew I wasn't. Like I knew I wasn't. I was in the flat with you guys. But it came to a point where I was just like, I feel alone, but I also feel like the one person who I want doesn't want me.
Yeah, I always felt a bit. You know, when we used to have like drinks in the flat and stuff, I always used to be cautious because I knew that you just split up, and I was thinking if I was you, from your point of view, if are you, because you never used to come and drink a lot that outside your room, and I was just think because if he sees two people in relationships, he's just gonna come back to where he was.
Yeah, I don't really get FOMO like that though.
No,
like,
but you could tell that because
the timing wise, yeah.
Yeah, timing wise, it might not be FOMO, but it's still raw emotions. And if you see people like how you used to act, you're going to be like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
You know
I mean
what
that's a considerate thing, but I mean, for me, I don't really, I don't look at other people's happiness and wish I had that kind of thing. I just kind of focus on what it is that I have and what I had. The mad thing is about that relationship is that I genuinely did feel extremely happy at moments. But it was always when things were good, you know. But it was always a lack of consistency that things couldn't stay good for long. And it was always like, I'd ask the question, why can't it stay good? Or why can't it just keep staying good? Like, why does she have to get pissed off at this? But it's because she was looking for reasons. Quite frankly, it was just, you look for a reason to cause a problem.